In this episode, we will be making the UI for our chat app using the EEL module in Python and HTML in Javascript. Okay, first let's start by removing some lines of code which we don't need. All this also has to be removed, but not now. So first let's import the EEL module in the client and then create a directory which has all our HTML files. I'll just name it web. Now we have to initiate EEL by passing this folder's name. So if we start a HTML file, it will first look for the file in this directory. Okay, first we have to start our EEL. I just want to show you how it works. I'll make a new HTML file here. Let's call it main. And now let's just specify its name and give it a run. I think it will throw an error. Yeah, it will, because I haven't yet started the server, so I'll start it quickly. Hello. And then you get this window, and whatever HTML which is there inside this page will get displayed in this window. Now let's just close it, close this also, and let's just okay, first I want it to be like when we run the program we have to get a screen which asks for our nickname and the code. So let's just have two input tags. And give us an ID of name and another input tag. I don't need the type. I'll give this an ID of code, and then finally a button. Now on clicking this button, I need to execute this function and it submits the code. Now we will be creating this function in JavaScript in a second, but first we need to import this EEL.js file so that we can access the Python functions from here. So it's our source src. Now we have imported this. Now let's create a JavaScript file here. And just to make sure, we'll import that also. Here let's create a function. I am spelling it so wrong. Function, what have we called? Submit code. To which we will have no, we don't need the arguments. We'll do document.get element by id. We're getting the value of this input tag. Its id is name, so I'll pass it here. Dot value. The same for the code also. Now this is done, then in the next step we are going to um, we are going to create a function in the Python side which starts a new chat window and connects to the server. So we don't need these lines. Sorry. Let's just specify the host and variable so that it doesn't go empty when we start the server. We'll create a function and expose it to the JavaScript side by saying EEL.expose, and this will have two arguments, the code and the name. Once we this I'm imagining this code to be in a format where first there's the IP and then the port. So when we do it without the ngrok or without making it public, the code will always be the same. Now we have to connect host. Oh, sorry, we need to get it from the global scope, and then this every time the code will be something like the colon and the port, let's say 3456. So we have to split the code, split the code from the what symbol is this called, the colon symbol, and we get an array. I'll show you. Equal to code dot split, and we pass this. Now just to show you, we'll comment this out. I am going to say start server, and let's just pass 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and then a colon and 76, and for the name I'll just put this. Now we are not going to use the name, but I specified it, so I will put it. Oh, sorry, I forgot to print it. Now if we run the code, we get an array of what is on the left side of the colon and of what is on the right side of the colon. Now let's just add two more things. I just want to show off the functionality of this split. So we get the first one, which is separated by a colon, we get 76 85, and the last one fi. This is how the split function works. I don't need this, I'll just terminate this. Post equal to code dot split, and then the code will have this array will have two elements. The one is the IP and the second is the port. Let's get the first IP, and the port will be the same thing, but we'll get the first index. Now let's connect to the host and the port. And now we get to use these lines. I'll just type it out. And then next we have to create a new HTML file here, which has the input for the message and the message send button, and it will display all the other messages sent by other people. I'll just say chat. No, let us leave it like this, and then finally we have to start this chat HTML. I forgot to start the main HTML file. Now once we do this, for now it will do nothing. Let's go to the main.js file and then EEL dot, what is the name, start server, EEL dot start server, and then we'll pass the two arguments, the code and the name. Now let's just hope this works. We'll give this a run. Where's the server? Yeah, here. And then the client, I'll enter the code to be which port am I connecting to here? 5000. Now this won't seem very significant here, but I'm sure you'll understand its use when you start using ngrok to make this public. Now work. No, it is not working. I don't know why. I have imported both the files. Let's just start by debugging. If this function is run properly. Stop and rerun. And then submit code is not defined. Why? I've spelled it out perfectly. Let me just figure this issue. Okay, figure out the error. Just renaming the file was the error. I think I already had a file called main, that's why I got confused. I just renamed the file to index and changed it here also. Now and I forgot one more thing. The port must be passed as an integer, so I'll just make it 1. Let's give this a run. Let's hope it works. I didn't specify the port, sorry. Okay, we get the chat. It's working perfectly, and it has connected to the server successfully. Woo! Now we have to start by making the UI for the chat app. I have already made it. I just can't find where it is. Now I'll post this code in the description. You can just paste it in here, and this will also need a CSS file which I am importing here. I made that also, which I will be linking in the description. You copy that also, create a CSS file, and then just paste it in here. Now let's give this another run. I keep forgetting to specify the port. And then we got this UI. Now let's create a function for displaying says here. terminate both the processes. Now let's create a function to display messages on the JavaScript side. The box in which all the messages appear has an ID of chat box, so let's keep that in mind. And let's create a new function called display message, because that's what we wanted to do. Get the message, we'll export this to the Python side, and in this function we have to get the element is equal to what's its a chat box. And then we have to, now this is done, now we have to create a new element which contains a message we get from the Python side. Let's just name this message, or message, do not shadow the argument, and then document dot create element. I hope this is how you spell it, create element. Okay, and now we have to set the inner HTML of this message to be. My audio stopped working suddenly, so I am re-recording everything from here, and I trimmed the part in which my audio didn't work, so you won't find anything odd. Now we have to set this message in HTML to be our message, and then finally append our message to the element or the chat box by saying append child the message. Now we have to create a function to send our messages. Without that we can't send our messages. Function send, won't need any arguments here, we just have to get the value of the input field equals to document dot get element. Why is my typing so bad? By ID, we have given it the ID of user message, so the element by ID user message dot value. Now all you have to do is just send this. We didn't create the EEL.send function yet, but we will do in a minute. Send the message. And now let's create the send message and expose it. You need to get the message argument, and then s.send message.encode UTF-8. I think it is pretty much done. Yeah, once we get the message, instead of just printing it, okay, let's give the print also, and then we have made this function, right, called the display message, and we have exposed it, which we have to call from here, underscore message the message. And now we have to, on clicking the send button, we have to call the send function. Now that is done. Is there anything to do more than this? No, let's use the run. I'm checking that if my audio is working. The port. It is working. So what just happened is, when I sent this message, it sent it to the host, it sent it to the server got it, and then it broadcasted it to all the clients. Now since there's only one client, we again got it from the server, we again got the message from the server, and then once we got the message, we call the display message function, which then displayed the message on the screen, and finally we get this output. Now if there was more than one client from another computer, this wouldn't work, so we need to do something called ngrok, which we will be doing in the next episode, and we will also be doing the exit function in the next episode. Thank you and bye.